Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today we are going over a huge list of Quest 3 accessories, both first and third party. Now these were sent to me for free, but I actually didn't know the vast majority of them were on their way here, and I'm under zero obligation to make any type of video. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by the story-driven shooter Genotype, currently available on the Quest 2 and Quest 3 headsets. The current version of Genotype already has some standout graphics on the Quest 2, and the developers are in the process of updating it for the Quest 3. This fully voice-acted title features a campaign that's over 6 hours in length, which has you battling creatures in a secret lab in the Arctic. Luckily though, you have your grade glove that allows you to print organic life forms that can be used as both weapons and tools to help you escape. There's a link down in the description if you want to go ahead and pick up this title. Okay, so I'm going to order today's video based on how useful I think each of these accessories are. Now, if you end up liking or wanting any of these, go check the description. I will have links, and some of them are, of course, affiliate links, which will help support the channel. Now, the first one I want to go over is a replacement colored facial insert and strap. I have one right here in this nifty blue, and for $50, it's pretty hard to recommend because you don't get much additional benefit. Now, there are a few unique scenarios where you might want to go out and buy one, but you're still stuck with the same strap, and I much rather you get an elite strap before you get another one of these. But before we discuss the elite strap, let's go into the rare circumstances where you might want this. Now, if you're sharing a headset with someone and you get all sweaty, it's gross. You don't want to pass it back and forth. It feels pretty disgusting. So having a replacement is nice. Additionally, if someone wears glasses, having to constantly adjust the space is a little annoying. So it is easier to just pull one insert off and put the other one back on. And finally, if you have a couple quests in the house and you have kids who fight over them, you can now color coordinate them and say, hey, yours is the blue, yours is the red, shut up and stop fighting. As you can see, I'm a parent. But at $50, very hard to recommend. So let's move on to a better option. Facial insert covers by VR Rock. And here we go. I have two of them right here. Now these actually slide over what you already have. So they just go on top. And they're almost half the price of buying a replacement one of these. So they're only $30 and you get two of them. So now you can color coordinate your quest and also add some extra antimicrobial material. So again, this is great to resist the sweat, because if you get this sweaty, you just rip it right off and it's very easy to wash. And you could go back and forth. Someone sweats up this one, someone sweats up this one. You got the benefit of the additional facial insert. You save some money. You color coordinated. Life is good. And I don't get into this too much because comfort is subjective, but you might find this material much better on your face. This is a soft cloth than what you get with the stock Quest 3. All right, let's move on. So the next item can be quite useful, but is also a bit niche, and that is a Gunstock. I'm holding one from Protube right here. A lot of companies make these. Protube already has the stock for the Quest 3. And you might already have one of these for your Quest 2. And you say, well, the controllers fit. What's the difference? Why do I need a new one? You don't necessarily need a new entire item. But if you notice here, these holes are unique to the Quest 3. The Quest 3 has an IR emitter on the bottom of the controller. So if you're trying to use your old device for your Quest 2 on the Quest 3, you might notice that your tracking just sucks now. It's going to throw off your tracking. It's definitely an issue. And I've noticed that some people are not aware of that. So basically, if you're not aware of what a Gunstock is or how the Protube works, this is a shoulder sling. You wear it like normal. I've used these many times in the past, and they have a bit of a learning curve, but if you play a lot of shooters, they can be really useful. They could really help your aim. And then what happens here is they magnetically connect. So you can take your hands right off, reload, whatever you need to do, grab a grenade. I do like that they've added these straps. That's really nifty. And basically, it just helps you aim by propping this up against your shoulder. Just like this. Now, like I said, kind of niche, kind of expensive, but if you play a lot of shooters, you definitely want to consider one of these because they can really help your aim and make you more competitive. But let's move on. The next item is much more of a want rather than a need, but I have to mention this because Meta did an almost perfect job on this one. This is a charging dock. Now, obviously, you could just get any USB cable, plug in your headset, put it on a table, and you're good to go. This is really just, to make things a little bit easier on your life and also make your room look a little bit better. However, I've gone through so many charging docks and so many have unique issues. This one right here is perfect for the Quest 3. It actually also has, I believe it's the inductive technology. Someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but you see there's no like little metal tabs that I have to touch or anything. You just put the controller down and it starts charging. All you do is replace the battery, and the battery itself is almost stock size. It does fit in there normally. It looks pretty much like a normal battery, and they're rechargeable obviously, and that's it. So this is good. If you have any other accessories, you're not blocking that. It's still going to work perfectly, which has been another issue historically with these charging docks. So nearly perfect, but that does lead into our next accessory and an issue I came across. So next one that I like and do recommend is controller grips, and the ones I'm using are from AMVR. Okay, so I said I actually like these, but you're probably wondering why aren't they on my controllers right now? And that's because of two issues that I already started mentioning. So this little plastic adapter goes into the battery socket, and that makes sure that this sleeve stays on in the right position, because once again, you see the hole there for the IR emitter on the bottom. You don't really want this moving around, blocking that IR emitter and messing up your tracking. So what happens here, if you're using the rechargeable batteries for that dock, this no longer fits. The battery is bigger than a standard battery and it blocks this. And AMVR can fix this, and I hope they do in the future. They just got to cut down this plastic a little bit here, but it doesn't fit. I can't use them anymore. Also, it's not going to work with my Protube. So as much as I do like them, I actually like the way this material feels rather than the controller itself. This nice rubber. I do enjoy this type of strap that lets you open your hand, because I come from a Valve Index, and I think that's a huge benefit, being able to completely relax your hands and do this. That is nice. Now they say, oh, it's also going to protect your device from, scuffs and make it a little bit more robust. I don't really believe in that. And plus, I've hit the wall so many times before and actually surprisingly haven't broken any controllers, just more broken fingers than broken controllers. But if you have the rubber on here, you're going to scuff your wall. And I much rather scuff my controller than having a big black streak on my wall. They are fairly cheap though. They do feel nice. If you're not going to get a Protube or the Meta charging dock, I do recommend them. And finally, I have an accessory that's extremely easy to recommend, and that's an Elite strap. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the default strap from the Quest, and while I do think it's better than what you get on the Quest 2, it's just okay on the Quest 3. For me, it doesn't bother me that much, but once you go up to an Elite strap, life gets a lot better. It's definitely a lot more stable, a bit more comfortable, and I highly recommend it, unless of course you're planning on getting a battery adapter. And I'm sure, give it a little bit of time, there's going to be plenty of other third-party Elite straps that are probably more comfortable, even cheaper. For years I've been going with Kiwi. Kiwi's done a great job. They're usually more robust, more comfortable, and cheaper. So that's probably someone we should keep an eye on. Right now, this is the only Elite strap I have. No one else has really sent me any, even though I'm in discussions with people. A lot of people don't have them ready just yet. The Elite strap, I do recommend, from Meta. It's good, it's solid. It is a little expensive, but it's worth the added comfort and stability you get. And I just want to go over some bonus accessories, because I know what happens sometimes when you get into VR. You love the experience so much that like 1 or 2 months in, you just want to up the experience more and more and more. And you start seeing these crazy accessories out there and you're like, you know what? I need that. You see some of these YouTube videos where people make a big deal over things and you're like, oh my, I need that in my life. And these include things like bHaptics, Katwalk, and the Yaw VR. I have all 3 of them. I have plenty of experience. The first one I will mention is the bHaptics vest. This is a vest that gives you more stimulation. So if you get shot in the back, you're going to feel vibration in your back. You get shot in the front. A grenade will kind of do like a ripple effect. And I think at this point, it actually works with like 240 games, many of which are native for the Quest. So it'll just work with your Quest, native support, not a lot of, rough setup or anything. It's pretty straightforward and it is a pretty good accessory, but it's very expensive. and I enjoy mine. I still use mine, not a ton, but I use it pretty often. But you know, it's hard to recommend. But as those accessories I've mentioned between bHaptics, Katwalk, and Yaw, it is definitely the go-to if you want to up your game. Moving on to the Katwalk, this is a VR treadmill. They finally have one that's reasonably priced, and it's like $900, $1,000. It does work natively with the Quest, and basically it'll allow you to use your legs instead of the controller stick to walk in game. Personally, I find it too exhausting to be practical. Now, right now I'm injured and I can't use it anyway. It's cool. It definitely adds a whole new cardio aspect to your VR. It adds a whole new level of immersion. But just imagine playing something like Pavlov, and every time you want to run away from an enemy or to an enemy, you actually have to physically run. After about 30, 40 minutes of playing, you need a nap, or at least I do. I'm an older dude. But it is pretty exhausting. It's comfortable and feels decently real, but for $1,000, it's kind of hard to recommend it unless getting cardio in VR is like something you're definitely looking for. And the Yaw VR is a motion simulation chair. They now have the second generation out there. It is a amazing experience if you're into things like VR roller coasters and Sims. There's not a ton of supported titles. It obviously doesn't work in the vast majority of games where you're standing up and reaching around and stuff. This is seated experiences where like you're in a car that that moves around. I personally loved it for Star Wars Squadrons. I found it to be, even though that wasn't a natively supported game, I just kind of configured it to work. That was really cool. There's a couple other racing games where it was really cool. Like you'll feel the seat buck. Roller coaster's crazy. You could turn the thing up too high. It'll slam the ground and kind of like almost throw you out of the chair. So it is a cool experience, but it's something that like takes a lot of work. You need to dial it in. It's only good for certain experiences. It's really basically just for sim fans. And that right there was my accessories video, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll definitely answer them. I'd love to hear your feedback down below. And of course, if there's anything else you guys want me to check out, just let me know, and we'll do a follow-up video in a couple months from now when there's a lot more options available. Okay, guys, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you on next time.